All right, welcome. Hi there. I'm your host, Joe Silva. The last episode, we talked about how we took the word small out of our vocabulary when it comes to business. Go back and listen to that one because it is very important. You'll realize how that really impacts what you do in your own business. And today, we're going to talk about what you may or may not realize is one of the most important ways and the fastest ways you can grow your business. All right, so what we're talking about is delegating and hiring employees, all right? Whether this be somebody to help on a part-time basis or a full-time basis. The bottom line we're going to cover today is that waiting to hire until you think you can afford it is actually what's costing you money. That's actually a broken strategy, and it's what's keeping you stuck in your business. It's slowing your momentum down. You may think, okay, well, how can I afford somebody and pay them and get them on board, right? You might be thinking that, but after you watch this and listen to this episode, you'll realize how this line of thinking is what's keeping you held back, right? It's keeping your business in park versus being able to hit the gas, right? You've got your foot on the brake and the gas at the same time if you're trying to do everything yourself. Now, I understand, all right, because trust me when I say this, I've been there, and I still get caught in the habit now and again of doing things I shouldn't do, right? And most businesses, most entrepreneurs, especially when you're newer, think, hey, I'm going to hire once I get to X number of revenue, right? Once I cross this threshold, that's when I'm going to hire. Or maybe when I get to so many clients, right? After I get X number of clients, then I'll know that I have the resources to hire somebody, get some help, and I don't have to do everything on my own. Okay, and this can apply, whether you're at 0 employees and you're thinking about that first employee, or maybe you're at a handful of employees already and you're not sure if you should hire the next one, okay? If you're like 90% of business owners, you're probably stuck in a lot of the minute tasks, right? You're ordering supplies, you're answering customer emails, you're doing a lot of the technical work of the business, okay? And when you're stuck doing that, when that consumes your day, the someday of hiring, when I get to X revenue, it never comes. It never shows up. And we're going to cover all of this when you listen to the rest of this episode. So stick with me here, okay? This next point, I'm going to slow down a little bit because this one is important, all right? The question about hiring somebody, all right? The question to consider, it's not really when will I be able to afford somebody. All right, that's not the question we should be asking ourselves as entrepreneurs. The real question is how can I afford not to hire somebody and still expect my business to grow? Let me repeat that because this is critical to understand, all right? We shouldn't be asking yourselves if you're serious about growing your business, okay? The question that most people ask that keeps them stuck, that we want to get out of, all right? This is the question most people ask. When will I be able to afford to hire somebody? When can I afford it, finally, right? What's that magic number where I can afford somebody? That's what most people do, all right? But that's actually keeping people stuck. That's keeping you stuck, very likely, all right? The real question you need to ask yourself and really contemplate on is how can I afford not to hire somebody and still expect to grow my business at the same time? Because it's really one or the other, all right? You can't not hire somebody and expect to grow your business the way you want to. It simply doesn't work. Your resources are finite, and we're going to go into all that here in a little more depth, all right? But the more you let this sink in, the more you're going to realize that this is the magic way, and it's not so magic realistically when you break it down, but this is the way to get your business to take off, to explode, to get that hockey stick growth that you likely have been looking for from day one. Now, let's consider a couple other things, all right? I was thinking about this myself, again, in my own business, but do you really think the businesses out there that are growing the fastest, the way you want to grow your business, right? Are they hiring employees because they are growing, or are they growing because they're hiring employees, right? It's that chicken and egg thing, but we know the answer here, okay? Let's look at it this way. If you, all right, you who are listening to this podcast, you on the other side, if you were somebody, and this is actually a question I asked, so I do some business coaching, I do some one-on-one and group coaching, and this came up with a client that I was helping, And I asked this question, and it really opened their eyes. So I'm going to throw this out there here on the podcast. It may help you as well when you hear this. But if you were hired by somebody else, all right, let's say you weren't an entrepreneur, you didn't have your own business. If you were hired and your main responsibility and the job that you were hired for was simply to grow that business for somebody else, okay, would you spend your time doing what you do now, sending the emails, right, packing boxes, answering questions from employees and customers, and doing all those little to-do tasks? Would that be what you would be doing for somebody else if your main job was to grow their business? Not a chance, right? No way you would spend your time on that stuff. So we need to look at why, in turn, is it okay to do that in our own business? We don't even need to ask why. We already know the answer, right? It's easy to see. It's obvious at this point that doing all those little things in the business is not what moves the needle, okay? Those are essential things. However, to get the growth that you're looking for as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you know already that there is more to it, and focus needs to be in the right spot, all right? So by now you're starting to see how waiting to hire another employee is actually costing you more money, all right? You won't be able to create more income until you get those minute day-to-day details off your plate. Okay, the more you get consumed, the more your business grows, the more of that comes onto your plate, and it's a cycle. It keeps you trapped, all right? So you're starting to probably realize how important your role is in your business to ensure the growth of your company, right? That's your role. It's not simply to be the frontline employee. If you own a restaurant, you don't have to be the person making the pizza, okay? Your job is to get customers in there, to build systems that make things efficient, right, and lead to growth. It's not to put the pepperoni on the pizza. You can hire somebody and train them to do that at any point, all right? So when you, as a business owner, get out of the day-to-day mundane tasks, you open yourself up for expansion and possibility and growth of your business, all right? Now, let's just take a second. Let's imagine for a moment what it's like when your business is growing its fastest, when it's thriving, right? You're finding new customers every week, maybe every day, right? Your phone is ringing, emails are coming in, people are walking in the door. You're connecting with real people that need your solution, whatever that is that you provide. They need you, and you're getting in front of those people. Your business is taking off, right? And the more you do that, now the more you feel inspired to do more and focus more on growth because you can see the impact that you're making, right? You're generating more revenue. You're helping more people. Your message and your impact is felt throughout the community, throughout your own family, right? They can see it. They can sense it. They can feel it. And throughout the lives of all those you touch with business, from employees to vendors to your own personal connections. Now that sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it? Yes, it does. All right. And I'm about to show you exactly how to make that a reality on this episode, all right? And you're going to be surprised at just how simple this really is, all right? Now, this is all part of what we teach, all right? This is one of our core pillars. It's pillar number one of our purpose, all right, in business. And we teach this to business owners and entrepreneurs, and you'll find other topics like this as well. But we're going to cover this in this episode. There's really 3 steps to making this a reality, okay? Number 1 is determine what your time is worth. All right, so that's number 1. As a business owner, you understand that you're the CEO, you're the president, you run the company, right? So what is your time worth? Have you ever sat down and actually looked at your hourly rate and what that is worth to you? As soon as you start valuing your time, you'll realize where to best spend it, and others will start to value it with you. Okay, so determine what your time is worth. That is key here. You might be saying, well, how do I do that? Well, there's a number of different ways, right? You can figure out how much do I want to make this year and break that down by the number of hours you want to work. And there is your magic hourly rate. Okay, now your time may be worth more than that even, but a lot of times we will undervalue ourselves. And we're going to do a $5 an hour task when we should be making $100 an hour or more, or whatever it is that your goals determine. So number 1, determine what your time is worth as the business owner, okay? Not as a frontline worker, but as the CEO, as the leader of your business, okay? Step number 2 is to hire somebody to take all the busy work off your plate, all right? Now that you know what you're worth, you can now pay somebody less than that, right? Whatever the rate you figured out, pay them less than that to do those little tasks. Again, back to our restaurant analysis, right? Or our restaurant metaphor. you don't have to use your $100 an hour time to put pepperoni on the pizza. You can hire somebody maybe for, $10, $15. I don't know what the going rate is these days. It's probably like $20. But anyways, you can hire somebody for less than what you're worth to do those little tasks, okay? And when you look at it this way, you probably start to realize that your job as a business owner is not to simply fill in the gaps, put out all the fires, and do these random tasks day in and day out, right? You've got to let go of the details, and you can hire an employee that can get the job done for much less than what your time is worth. And then you can take those non-productive tasks off of your plate and really focus on what matters, all right? And that leads to step number 3. This is critical because you can do the first 2 things and keep filling up your plate. And again, I've been there. Trust me. This happens all the time where you get one thing off your plate and 2 other things come on it, right? It's just exponentially. There's always something to do, these little things in the business. But when you can use your time effectively to grow your business, that's when the game starts changing, all right? This is critical because you really have to be relentless to dedicate yourself to those 5% of activities that drive growth, all right? What are those? It's finding new customers. It's creating new partnerships. It's creating efficiencies within your business that make it operate smoother, right? It's finding new ways to reach those people that need you. Remember, we thought about that earlier, right? All those people that need what you have to provide. How can you get in front of them? How can you get your product or service in front of more people? That is what your job is as the leader of your company. Growth, vision, knowing how to take this business to where you want it to go. And if you're spending all of your time, right, on the little things, that's when there's a problem. And unless you have every single customer that you ever need in the world, right, it's your job to find more ways to reach more people, okay? So those 3 steps, again, simple, not necessarily easy, but simple to look at, can lead you to the success you're looking for. Now, you may be thinking, listen, I get all this. This all makes sense, okay? But there's always a but, right? But I don't have the money to hire somebody. That's probably what you're thinking right now if you're resistant to this. But let me give another example, okay? I was actually at an event speaking to a group of entrepreneurs. And after I was done, one of them came up to me, and we were having a pretty good discussion on a similar topic. And she said, you know what? I logically understand everything you're saying. I get it. It makes sense to me. But I don't want to lose everything I've created, right? I've spent the last 5 years of my life. I've created this business. Now, it's not making me the money that I want to make yet, right? I seem to have plateaued, and I'm not really getting much out of it other than paying the bills. But I don't want to risk losing everything that I've already built. And so we had a discussion, and it really came down to this. When she finally realized, I asked the question. I said, well, that's understandable. You don't want to lose everything you have built, but have you considered the fact that you're not hiring is actually putting your business more at risk than it would be to invest in an employee? And she stopped in her tracks. She said, whoa, wait, what do you mean? Right? And I had to go in a little bit more depth here. And when you look at it this way, is that you can keep scraping along, right? You have that choice. You can keep taking out the least amount of money possible and doing all the stuff yourself. You certainly can do that. And there are lots of people that do that. I've done it myself for a period of time, okay? However, burnout is real. You will run out of energy eventually. Sooner or later, if you keep picking up rocks, you can only carry so many rocks. Am I right? Does that make sense? And the same is true in business. Okay? You can do a lot of the stuff for however long. Maybe some people can do it for 6 months. Maybe some people can do it for 6 years. Whatever. You can do a lot of the stuff yourself and get along just fine. But eventually, it catches up to everybody. And when you're burnt out, you start to get resentful. When you get resentful, you start to make mistakes. When you start to make mistakes, now you're jeopardizing your business. It's obvious that the more you do of these little things to save $1 here, save $1 there, the more it's costing you later, isn't it? Hiring somebody is an investment in your business. All right, you put $1 in, you're getting $2 back. And when you can realize that, that's when you've got a real business. That's when you can take a day off, right? And recharge. That's when you can enjoy your family time. The whole reason you got into entrepreneurship is to enjoy your freedom. Very, very likely, is it not? Freedom is not being tied to your own job that you created for yourself. Freedom is having backup. Freedom is having people there that you can rely on. Freedom is knowing and trusting that things run the same way with you and the same way without you. That's what this is all about. So when you get to that point, and by using those 3 steps we mentioned earlier, that's the way you start to get there. That's when business becomes enjoyable. That's when you light up. That's when you can get in front of more people, and it's a snowball effect, and you start to make, as you will find, you'll start to make more and more revenue that way. So at this point of the episode, we've kind of gone through what we need to go through, but you can continue to do some of these little things that eat up your day all the time, right? You have that choice, like we mentioned. They grind you down. They make you feel busy, right? You can continue to do that, or you can get serious about growing your business, right? You can decide to thrive and expand your business the way you know it can, right? You can choose to live the life of your dreams, all right? And that's what this is all about. That's what this episode is all about, is that it's going to cost you more in the long run of your business to not hire somebody, to not get the help you want, than it is to invest in somebody up front, all right? Now, if this resonates with you, if this is the type of topic that helps you in your business, you're going to want to go to our website, joesovatraining.com. We've got free resources there that will help you put this into place. It will help you get clarity on these action items, on these 3 things we talked about, and much, much more. So go to our website. If this is something that you need in your business and you can feel that, when you go to our website and you download this, you'll be glad you did. So check it out, joesovatraining.com, and you will get that free resource that will help your business move forward. Also, I would invite you to share this out there. Share this with somebody who needs it. Share this with a business entrepreneur friend that can utilize it. The more people we can reach on this podcast, the more we can all help each other. So get your free resource. Go to joesovatraining.com. And then share this out there as well. So as always, thank you very much for joining me here today. Appreciate you listening. I really do. And we're here to help. We're here to bring impact and help your business impact more and more people out there and grow and expand. That's the goal here. And we can do that together. So thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you. And I will see you on the next episode.